'cause you're here.
It is a good time for slashers. This weekend we are getting the first chapter in the Stranger's new trilogy, and all three movies will be released within a year. Chapter 1 is actually releasing today, and I'm pretty excited for that, even though it won't be releasing in my location just yet. The first movie from 2008 was one of my favorite slasher movies of all time. I really loved how you didn't get to know who the killers are or their motives, and the ending left it very ambiguous. The sequel, even though it was good, it was a step down. It was fun, but a quite big step down and too on the nose, with some very fun scenes. So now we are getting a prequel trilogy, and that has gotten me to think about the possibilities of the story and how it will play out. So in this video I will be bringing up 3 theories I have regarding the whole trilogy. My first and biggest theory is that because we are not getting Dollface in the movie, at least seemingly, I think that the main character, the red hairs played by Madeleine Pesch, she will become Dollface throughout the trilogy. She starts out as a victim but becomes one of them. The 3 that are in this new trilogy, one of them dies and she takes that person's place and becomes one of the strangers. And that would have to be a plot point that will have to be well written. Her turn has to be believable and work as a story element. Because I do think that's the route they are going with this new trilogy. Because we don't see Dollface in any promotional images or trailers at all. So I do think that she will become Dollface. Yeah, I do know she has red hair, but that's easily fixed. You could just dye her hair and she's blonde. And that would in the end become a very interesting plot point in a slasher. It's, from what I have seen, not been done before, that the victim becomes the killer in a very character-driven way. You see the change happening on screen. You see her change from this innocent victim and being chased by the strangers, and the turn maybe becoming something very brutal or a secret that is revealed, and she becomes one of them. So that's my first theory. My second theory is one that I'm not sure that I really want, and that is giving motives to the killers. In the original movie and its sequel, the killer didn't have any motive. They were just random attacks, random stalkers and killers that just did things randomly. And that was a crucial element on why the original movie worked. But the studio is doing a whole trilogy, prequel trilogy now. They decided to do that, and then you have to add some elements to it for it to work. You kind of have to give the strangers a motive, otherwise you risk of just repeating the same movie all over again. You have to do and make changes. So even though I'm very skeptical about giving them a motive, I think they have to do that this time around and also put effort in it, because I don't want something that is totally generic and not well written for their motives. I always liked the ending of the original movie where they allude to some religious things. Like when they are done killing the 2 main characters in the movie and then they drive off and see 2 boys. And those boys, they give Dollface a religious pamphlet and ask her if she's a sinner, and she answers sometimes. I really think that's something that can be developed further, and maybe that is the motive in this new trilogy too, because it's the same killers, it's just earlier. These 3 movies happened before the original movie. But I'm not 100% sure on giving them a motive, because that was the special thing about the original movie and its sequel. But if they got a good storyline regarding that, I'm not against it either. So we will just have to see about that. The original I really love because it left it open-ended and the killers were brutal. I mean, they let these two main characters know that they are dead because they take off their masks in front of them and let them know that there's no chance of surviving. And that was very well executed. So in terms of giving the strangers a motive, I would have a religious angle to it. Maybe that they are a cult or something, a really crazy religious cult. And they are killing innocent people because of some crazy idea that they have. And that would in turn connect to the main character turning to them and becoming one of them, because she gets to understand where they come from, understanding why they are doing what they are doing, even though it's very, very crazy. Sure, we won't get a protagonist in the classical sense, but if we see her turn into a psychopath, then it would be very interesting and unique for a slasher. We see her turn into a psychopath in 3 movies, slowly, so we get a character that changes in that direction, and that is something unique for a slasher film. I don't think we have gotten that in a slasher film before, where we see a character turning from a normal person to a crazy person in 3 movies, becoming a serial killer essentially. So why not give the Strangers franchise a unique angle like that? If you're going to make a new trilogy, why not make it something fresh? And I think that would satisfy most the Strangers fans. All in all, I want to see a great slasher movie. I want to see a good story from this. I want all 3 movies to be great. And I think it has potential, even if I think there's a chance that they screw it up. But because the original is one of my favorite slasher movies of all time, I want the best out of this because it deserves the best too. You are getting a new chance to make something new and exciting for the fans. And I hope they honor the original movie in the way that it deserves. If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe. This has been Boogeyman Cinema. Thank you for watching. What do you think will happen in this new movie and in all of these 3 movies? Please let me know in the comments.
Leave us alone! But we've just started.